Yo, what's up, family? So, I'm not surprised that the talk of abortion is being brought back up. Um, there again, family, if I have anybody listening to me right now that has had an abortion or is thinking about having an abortion, for one thing, if you bring it to God and you really, really pray on it, um, He's going to reveal to you what the right thing to do is. See, when I did this many, many years ago, I was not walking with God. Um, I was very young and I was not raped, although I have been raped at 15. Um, this was a choice of mine that ultimately I was kind of forced into by the guy and his mother. So as I got older, I wanted children. And in the back of my head, I always thought I was going to be punished because, there's a lot of pro-abortionists, and some of them are Christians, family, that will literally say, that they'll even use Bible scriptures, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. So I figured I was going to do a study on this, but I wanted to first give you a little insight on me. I felt like God was going to punish me, that God hated me, but I didn't really understand God's mercy or forgiveness when I was, 17 years old. So as I got older, I prayed for forgiveness, and I still, in the back of my head, I always felt like, God's going to make me suffer. So at 20 years old, family, when I had my son, he was coming 6 weeks early. I was scared to death. And I'm not even going to lie to you. My first thought was, oh my gosh, he's going to take this child from me because of what I did. And as I was laid out, being cut open for emergency C-section, like my hands are outstretched, like I literally felt like I was being crucified on a cross. I remember looking up, and all I could see was the light in the surgery room. But the light got brighter, and I remember asking the Lord to forgive me and give me a chance, have mercy on what I did, because I committed murder. That's in the book of Exodus. A lot of people, will want to argue that, but in the Most High's eyes, it is murder. And some of these people walking around human, they're human. They're not. Their thoughts are not higher than the most Creator's thoughts. So in their eyes, they're right. And there's even scriptures on that where men will do things thinking it's right and it's okay in their eyes, but in the sight of the Lord, it's not. It's not okay with God. But anyway, family, in that moment, I felt this peace come over my body, and I can't even explain it. And they were just about to pull him out, And when they pulled that kid out, he was screaming, y'all. 6 weeks, lungs fully developed, screaming, okay? And you actually have people out there that would have wanted to take my son that was 6 weeks early now, not even born on time, but 6 weeks early, and tear his limbs apart and kill him. I rebuke all of this in Jesus' name. And just know that you can be forgiven, family. If you've had an abortion in the past, you can be forgiven. But you have to bring it to the Most High God. You have to surrender, and you have to come with a pure heart. I just, even being raped at 15, going through what I went through with that, this man was old enough to be my father. Luckily, family, I did not get pregnant by him. But even 2 years later, because of the rape, because of what I went through, I was wilding out, and ended up getting pregnant. I didn't realize what I was doing, and I can remember going into the place, and there was a woman outside with a Bible, and she was screaming, all these verses, and, but she wasn't coming at me the way she should have, with compassion and understanding and kindness and patience. I might have would have, done things differently. And I can remember how upset my mother was. Because even though my mom knew I was young, she was willing to help me. But because the mother and my boyfriend at that moment would not leave it alone, and like I said, I pretty much feel like I was talked into it. And let me remind you, that mother and that boyfriend did not go with me. I went by myself. And then shortly after that, the relationship fell apart. And he was the one that, that I lost my virginity to, that I gave my all to, that I thought was my first love. So, I'm going to go into a study, guys, and I just want to talk on this for a few minutes. Paul rejoiced that God set me apart before I was born. That's in Galatians 1:15. It would not occur to many pro-abortionists that Christians might oppose abortions for other biblical reasons. They frequently allege that, Christians have no use for science, yet they utterly ignore science themselves in their mad rush to defend abortion at any time in pregnancy and beyond in some cases. They ignore all the evidence proving the existence of fetal pain. They are profoundly and willingly ignorant on fetal development. They simply ridicule post-abortion syndrome and the abortion breast cancer link. Therefore, pro-abortionists have many difficulties when they are confronted with an atheist or agnostic pro-lifters who argue solely from the scientific point of view. That's why most of the time they won't, they want to argue with a Christian. But, oh, buddy, let an atheist or an agnostic person say the same thing and use scientific points of view. Pro-abortionists generally base their opinion neither on science nor religion, but on mere opinions, family. There are many sins that the Bible condemns directly or indirectly. For instance, the commandment, thou shalt not kill, certainly applies to sins such as serial killing, terrorism, indiscrimination, bombings of civilians during warfare. Though these are not, specifically mentioned in the Bible, how then may we know that the Bible indirectly condemns abortion? Just, think on that for a minute. To begin with, the Bible repeatedly condemns the killing of innocent. Jeremiah, that I have right here, 1:5, also in Jeremiah 7:6, and in Jeremiah 22:17, Psalms 106:37 through 38, Proverbs 6:16 through 19, Isaiah 53:6, Luke 17:2, and Matthew 18, verses 10 and 14. A preborn child is obviously innocent of any crime or actual sin, family, because he or she cannot possess the intent of doing evil. Pro-abortionists sometimes justify